So this is daylight 1 out of Lordsburg. Probably 3.5 days, including today, to the border. So this long walk is coming to conclusion, and then get back to home in reality. At this point in time, I'm ready to be done. It's a long way, a lot of stress on the body. It's been a good time, a real good time. So after today, we've only got a day and a half to the border. Probably about 75 kilometres from the Mexican border. Terrain is changing all the time. Sometimes it's sort of sandy. It gets very rocky. Sometimes it's actually even nice to walk on, but not very often. All the trees and shrubs now very prickly. They want to tear your clothes and your skin. But we're almost done. So it's good. Feels very sore. It'll be a big accomplishment. So I'm quite excited. Last night I slept out under the stars, cowboy camping. It was beautiful, so dark. You can see the little stars that make up the Milky Way disk. It's pretty cool. The amount of planes continuously flying overhead or on within my field of view was insane. It would have been anywhere from a dozen to 2 dozen planes continuously all night. I didn't get much sleep, probably an hour or so of sleep, so I'm pretty sure while I was asleep it probably didn't get a whole lot better. But yeah, this desert in New Mexico is something else. It's harsh, yet beautiful. Today's a bit nicer than yesterday because there's a wind blowing directly into my face. Still reasonably early in the morning, but I got up at 5 a.m. Got a couple hours of walking before the sun rose, which just makes it easier on the day. I'm trying to do big days so I can just get done. And when it's 32, 33 degrees Celsius, it's hard work out here. There's no natural water at all. So there's some water caches, and then there's a few solar wells where they're pumping water up from under the ground into reservoirs for cattle. I'm not sure what cattle are eating out here. There's definitely cattle out here. But yeah. So close I can almost smell it just being done and dusted with this immensely long trail. It's going to be hard on the body. My feet ache at night now. Well, quite a long time. I'm trying to resist taking painkillers, but sometimes I absolutely have to, just to be able to get some sleep. What else? Helen's no longer walking with me, but she's got a car, so she's been doing some small hikes. She's got plantar fasciitis in her feet, so she can't do the big days. But it has been good for me, where she can turn up with some fresh water and camp with me, and I can carry a little bit less in my backpack and resupply a little bit more often, so it's good, well worth the costs. Anyway, there's the plains. There's still the odd hill, but mostly just flat, rocky, sandy, and lots of scratchies. Haven't seen any rattlesnakes on this section yet, but Helen saw a big one yesterday, so that would have been quite exciting for her. So today is the second to last day of walking the Continental Divide National Scenic Trail. I was up early this morning just so I can get some kilometres in before it gets hot, because yesterday was brutal. The landscape actually really pretty. And all its harshness. Everything has thorns, lots of scratch. But still, you just can't get away from how beautiful it is. And at night the stars here are amazing. These things here are particularly thorny, so avoid those at all cost. Yeah, I'm excited to be done. So I'll try and do about 40 kilometres today. Get pretty close to the border so I can have an early one tomorrow. Then head to town, shower, and get some good food in me. And probably throw away my hiking gear, which is now falling apart. And it's pretty filthy and disgusting anyway, it's not worth keeping. So yeah, good times. It's been an amazing adventure.
On this last section, we had planned for Helen to meet us at a pre-arranged spot approximately 16 kilometres from the Mexican border. She had walked thousands of kilometres and I wanted her with me when we finally reached the Crazy Cook monument that ends the Continental Divide Trail. This plan didn't go well. Seeps and I had reached the meeting place early and enjoyed a nice rest while we waited for Helen. Not long before dark, she messaged me via my Garmin InReach with bad news. She had just hit a mule deer that had ran out in front of the SUV. So we started a nighttime march back to the nearest road, which was approximately 20 to 22 kilometres. By the time we reached the road, it was well after 1 AM, but thankfully a wonderful police officer was with Helen and he took us back to Lordsburg. 2 days later we got a ride back to the same spot we had reached earlier, but this time Helen was with us. From there we continued our walk towards the Crazy Cook monument and the Mexican border. Throughout the final days, I was starting to have mixed emotions. My body was tired and I'd been thinking about home and everything that I'd been missing out on for more than 5 months. And yet I was not quite ready to be done with our adventure. The thousands of miles on foot, experiencing every kind of weather and terrain, living out of our backpacks, keeping things simple and carefree, packing up every day and then just walking in the beauty of creation. When I finished my hike of Te Aroa, I felt the same emotions of not wanting it to end, but I'd finished it alone, and it would have been really nice to have had others to finish with. This time I was finishing with my wife and great friend Seeps, and it was nice to be able to celebrate it together at the monument. When the shuttle arrived to pick us up, we were surprised to see Richard. We had met Richard on trail way back in Montana just before Lincoln. He was being dropped off to hike the last section of the trail north and finishing up in Lordsburg. Then as a second added bonus, on the shuttle ride back to town, we caught up with our good friend Mr. Soggy Whopper. He was on his last 30 kilometres of the CDT and finished the same day. We had met Soggy Whopper back in East Glacier Village on the first week of our hike. Then throughout the months we had bumped into him multiple times. Seeing others reach the goals and sharing that with them really made the whole experience feel extra special. For Helen and I, everything came together for a perfect ending. I want to say a big thank you to all the amazing people that we met throughout our hike. Often it was the people that made the difference and really had the biggest effect on us. I also want to say a big thank you to friends and family that followed our monumental walk and gave us encouragement along the way. We're glad that we could share a small part of this with you.
That's Mexico over there. Doo, doo, doo. Look, the gate's open. I'm in Mexico. Whoops. What? I'm in America. I'm in Mexico. I'm in America.